Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Courtney Ryan, and today we have a reaction video. Someone tagged me in the comments of this, and I instantly knew I had to react because this is something I feel very strongly about. So let's watch it and reconvene, and we will talk about it.
Why do men not understand hints? Why do I have to spell every fucking thing out? Why can't you just one simple little hinting at this? Fucking understand what I'm trying to say. I don't want to have to spell everything out like I'm your mother.
So this is something that I've talked about in many different videos before on the topic of your significant other is not a mind reader. Actually, no one in your life is a mind reader. Not your friends, not your mom, not your dad, not any other member of your family, not your significant other. The top comment on this video was legitimately, "What I heard. Why do I have to communicate like a grown adult? It takes too much work." Because that's essentially what she said, right? I'm going to say something a little bit crazy here, but stick with me. Imagine you go to the emergency room and instead of telling them your symptoms or what's wrong with you, you give them hints. Now that could lead to many negative outcomes, a misdiagnosis, wrong medication, death. I know this is such a dramatic example, but I'm doing it on purpose to emphasize the importance of effective communication, right? You give hints on Easter to find hidden eggs. You give hints in Pictionary through your drawings so people can guess what it is. You shouldn't be giving hints in dating or relationships to get a specific desired outcome. Your relationships with people are not a game and require you to communicate your wants and needs like an adult. It is not your partner's job to decipher hints. And we need to start communicating like adults. Okay? Now, I also think, generally speaking here, not all women, but a lot of women have a more indirect form of communication. You know, if they want you to get them water, they'll say something like, "I'm thirsty," instead of, "Can you go get me water?" Which obviously is not helpful. You know, if you want someone to get you water, you should ask for it instead of saying, "I'm thirsty," and then expecting them to just know that they should go get you water, right? Even I've been guilty of this in the past. I think women as a whole have a more indirect form of communication and aren't as direct with their communication style, whereas men turn to more direct forms of communication. So if you give a hint, you know, they don't really operate on a hint type basis. And if you don't ask for something or tell them what you want, they're not always going to know, right? Because they tend to go for more of a direct form of communication, whereas women are more indirect. So this is just something to note going into this as well. I think we just have different communication styles and we need to understand that men and women are different and that is okay. But I also think there are other reasons why men don't necessarily act on hints, and I'm going to talk about that. You know, I think for a lot of men, the risk of misunderstanding a hint sort of outweighs the benefit of following a hint or taking a hint. You know, taking a hint means you're essentially making assumptions, which isn't always the best or leads to the best outcome. When you assume, you make an ass of you and me, as they say, and I think that's definitely applicable here. I also think an overwhelming amount of women post online or just discuss in general having a rather negative experience with men in terms of men approaching them, hitting on them, making them feel unsafe or uncomfortable, being persistent even when the woman rejects them, etc. I could go on and on. So I think a lot of men have reached a point where they don't want to contribute to that or be a part of it, right? I would say most men don't want to make a woman feel uncomfortable. They don't want to be creepy. And even if it's totally not their intention to come across that way, I think many women will see it as such if they aren't interested in the guy. You know, as a woman, I think we do overuse the term creepy and we've watered it down. You know, it's not always the reality. And, you know, just because you're not interested in someone or attracted to them doesn't mean that everything they do is creepy. So again, I think we've really watered this down. I think there are instances where men are creepy and men make women feel unsafe. You know, I'm sitting here as a woman who makes content for men, and the majority of my interactions are very positive, and you guys are wonderful, but I am dealing with some things at the moment actually that are very creepy and that have made me feel unsafe. And I don't say that lightly. It really takes a lot for me to get to that point. And the only reason I'm even bringing up my personal experience there is so you guys understand that yes, there are women who misuse the word creepy and who water it down, but there are absolutely situations that are creepy and that do make women feel uncomfortable and unsafe. And I've experienced it firsthand and I'm going through it right now behind the scenes. So I just want to put that out there so you can maybe have a little bit more of an open mind about that. But again, I think this is one of the reasons too why men are afraid to take hints, because they don't want to make a woman feel uncomfortable and they don't want to be contributing to the issue, right? And even if their intentions are pure and they're not trying to be creepy, it could still be taken the wrong way. So I think a lot of men have kind of become hesitant to approach for that reason. I've done videos about this in the past where I go much more in depth if you guys want to check those out, but it's definitely a reason why men don't take hints. Because of this negative experience women are having, many men aren't really interested or comfortable with just taking a hint. So that's another thing to consider as well. So all of that applies to more approaching or dating or making the first move and things like that. But I also think that having this expectation that, someone should just understand every little hint that you throw out there, no matter how subtle it is, having this expectation for your relationship or significant other can lead to major resentment. And I believe a lack of effective communication is the demise of so many relationships. And that's because the people in your life cannot possibly live up to these grand expectations that you set for them in your head, but fail to properly and directly communicate. I think this is such an important thing to understand and can be helpful for working through conflict and coming to solutions in your relationships, and honestly just setting proper expectations for yourself and the people that you're with. I think there's a very romanticized element of this that stems from an idea that your significant other should just know you so well that you never have to explicitly say what you want or need because they should just automatically know, right? But the reality is that's not how relationships work. And that's an unrealistic idea rooted in delusion, unfortunately. So I just wanted to talk about a few different things here. I think this is not a healthy expectation to have when you're dating or in relationships. I really don't think it's a healthy expectation to have for anyone in your life. I think overall we really need to learn how to communicate like grown adults. And if we want something or need something from someone, we need to directly communicate that. I don't think it's fair at all to put a burden on your partner to decipher codes or hints and to just know what you're thinking and what you want 24/7 if you're not communicating it to them. I think also the general difference between men and women and the ways that we communicate plays a role here as well. And unfortunately, I think we've reached kind of a strange spot between men and women where, it's not always the best thing for a man to just take a hint. Now, that's not true all the time. I'm sure it has worked for many of you before, but I'm sure there's an equal number of you who it has not worked for and maybe had a negative result. So you can let me know what you think down in the comments. Have you had positive or negative experiences taking hints? Have you ever taken a hint the wrong way? I would just love to hear from you guys down in the comments and share some of your experiences to help some other guys out below. And if you're a woman watching, I would love to hear your perspective down in the comments as well. So if you like this video or found it helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to be in the loop for when I release new content. If you haven't already, be sure to follow me over on Instagram at Courtney Christine Ryan. I love connecting with all of you guys over on there as well. Also, before I end the video here, if you've made it this far, just wanted to let you guys know that I'm a bit under the weather. So if I'm a little bit more raspy than normal, a little off my game here today, it is because I actually have the flu. So we power through. It was very important to me to get this reaction video out and share some words of wisdom with the world. So as always, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.